Hey, everybody. Well, I hope you had a great and Merry Christmas. The Oakland Raiders are now 6 wins and 9 losses. They are 1 win away from what would be a repeat from one loss perspective of Jack Del Rio's first year as the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Um, that was a sad game to lose. Not be just because the Eagles didn't play well, and not because the team effort was inspired, even if the strategy was questionable, but just because. Oh, there's so much you could say about this game that I could go on and on and on about just how much this is awful. The Real Raider says, "Zinni, I love you. Park the car. Park the car. Park the car." Wasn't he made some bad throws, and but also, and once again, I pin this on Todd Downing and by extension Jack Del Rio because the game plan got us into a position, and also Pagano. I've analyzed and studied the Raiders' defense, and it is not substantially better than it was when Kim Norton had it. So, what happened is quite apparent to me in analysis is simply that there was some argument, and someone came in, I believe again, Mark Davis came in and said, "You have to get rid of Ken Norton and make some change, or I'm going to get rid of you." And I believe that's what happened. Okay. Um, it was less than an inspired effort. By the way, I hope your Christmas. Hey, Real Raider, how was your Christmas? By the way, mine was fantastic. I got these Uggs, these cool house shoes. Got these cool house shoes for, among other things. It wasn't the only thing that I got for Christmas. I got more things. I got more things. But wow, Robert Mitchell, how you doing? Right, just I like Pagano. It's down. He needs to go. Merry Christmas. It's not personal. I don't dislike Pagano on a personal level. I just look. I looked at using the all 22 on NFL Game Pass. I looked at, and I'm studying a number of games, and I see mistakes throughout. This was one of the better efforts, but the Raiders play a basic defense that is best described as two down linemen, four linebackers, and five defensive backs. And a lot of the reasons why we give up runs, and this has been throughout, okay, including tonight. And a lot of reasons why we give up big runs is because of the basic structure of that defense. That defense is, you know, I was about to say it's designed to stop the pass, but it doesn't really do that well. So I'm not sure what it really is supposed to do other than provide some flexibility in terms of being able to put your linebackers either up or down. In other words, either out into coverage or into the pass rush. Other than that, I see little advantage in its structure. Excuse me, I see no advantage in its structure. And the way the Raiders play the 2-4-5. Again, two down linemen, four linebackers, and five defensive backs. The way the Raiders play the 2-4-5 is such that they leave a lot of holes. If you push the tight end to one side, the linebackers go with them. They always leave the side away from the linebackers into with a bubble area open for the run. And Cowboys running backs have found it, and others. So this is awful, just plain awful. What did you guys think of the game? Those of you who saw it who were willing to react, is it time for Jack Del? Okay, let me put it this way: Jack Del Rio, go or stay. What do you say? Robert Mitchell. Rachel says if we keep this up, Vegas really won't show up and buy tickets if we get there. I still believe, given the numbers that I'm looking at, that this deal has a lot of problems. And now we're getting my question regarding Jack Del Rio. Fires Tasher says go. Emil Gary says he has to go. Fires Tasher says go. Who else out there? Anybody else? Go, go, go. Um, Robert Mitchell says go. So far we have a good number of people who say that Jack Del Rio has to go. and and I just wonder. I'm writing this on Twitter. Talk now. Join us. Hashtag Raiders. Got it. Okay. Just putting that out there. Hashtag Raiders. Rob Mitchell says Chucky is available. I've heard that, but I understand that the first place that John Gruden may go is Tampa because he lives there, right? He lives there. Silver Mazed and Eric Madison asks, did anyone find it odd to go for it on a fourth down in the first quarter? Yeah, I didn't find it odd. I found the play call odd. I really did. Uh, it was just kind of like, why are we calling that? And the play call was a rollout in that situation, but we left the tight end in to block on that side, and there was no quick throw to get 2 yards. We only needed 2 yards. Okay, so I really found it more than questionable. I found it sad because if you're going to go for fourth and two, a at least have a play that is going to get you those 2 yards, right? We didn't have that. Uh, First, Tasher says discipline. Rob Mitchell says we passed on fourth and three, shaking my head with Lynch out there. Right. Actually, it was a fourth and three or fourth and two, and we do have a tendency to do that with Lynch. I mean, if anything, best of both worlds, throw so you can get him the ball in space. He's going to get you those yards. 2 yards or 3 yards. Marshawn Lynch catching the ball in space like that. He's going to get you those yards. Give it to him. And Silvermay says Downing, play calling, Carr, bad passes, wide receivers dropping passes, bad O-line blocking. Ugh. Dave Compton says, hey, Mr. Z, dissipate on the outcome of the game. Hope you had a good holiday and Jack must go. Yeah, wow. The outcome of the game, we can't even do, and we're in Oakland, right? And Cal football created the the play, the forward lateral. We can't even do that right. In fact, it went so horribly, it wound up being fumbled. It was bad, okay? And Fires Tash says Michael Singletary for head coach equals discipline. I have a point there. I think he's ready for another go at it. Um, my discipline is a big problem. Discipline is a huge problem. Discipline, not just in terms of behavior, but in terms of play calling. And Eric says maybe DC defensive coordinator for Singletary. Might have a point there. So I wonder. I'm also going to, as I put this on Facebook, I'm going to go over and see if I can get. He turned the Niners. He did turn the Niners. Silvermay says they will let him go at the end of the season, right? That's not guaranteed. Silvermaze, that's not guaranteed. I mean, you would say that's a logical thing to assume, but they did sign him to a new contract, so it's not guaranteed. And a friend of mine says he wants to know how soon that this is hilarious. He wants to know how soon we can get the Raiders out of here so they can stop embarrassing us. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh my gosh, that is absolutely hilarious. Uh, I that's too funny. That's too funny. I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. Now as far as the other, what bothers me about this team, okay, is that it's more than not just playing to our potential, okay, but that we're not using, we're not getting our players in the best position to make plays. I know that sounds like a cliche, but offensively, we we don't have an offense. We don't have a system that has sight adjustments for wide receivers. so that they can take advantage of defenses, the defenses that give them openings down the middle, for example. You know, we don't have that. Um, we don't have, and we really need to sit down as a team and say, and get a head coach and get an offensive coordinator that understands how to install an offense that has such side adjustments so that as the play unfolds, as the defense unfolds, the offense can take advantage of what the defense does by design. The Raiders' offense at present doesn't have that. The last time a Raider offense had that was when Mark Trestman was the offensive coordinator, and we had Bill Callahan as the head coach for that wonderful year when Tim Brown and Jerry Rice were the head wide receivers, as I like to call them, right? So I'm not. Uh, that's a long time ago. If you remember, it is a long time ago. So can we return to that? Of course we can. I mean, absolutely. We can definitely return to that. And I don't see why. Um, I really don't see why the Reggie McKenzie can't call for that kind of can't call for that kind of the system to be installed at all. We need also to get our situation together with respect to the who we put on the practice squad, because we had a number of teams, uh, we had a number of players on the practice squad that, most notably the one that was picked up by the Bills, that are great players that we got who are undrafted that have no business being there at all. And so we've got um, Big April says another bad season, Vegas will turn on them. And Big April says, "Hey, Big April, how you doing?" He says, "Big April says, let's tell the truth. Carr, this is from Big April, not from me. I'm reading this. Says Carr is as good as his offensive coordinator is. If the offensive coordinator is good, he's good. If the offensive coordinator is bad, then he's bad." And that's right up with what Derek Carr essentially told me when I interviewed him in 2015. He says, "Look, I just do what they tell me." Okay? That's as clear as the bell. In other words, he's not some genius out there trying to install his own offense on the fly. He quite simply is a quarterback who wants to perform within a framework. You give him the framework, he's going to do what you ask him to do. And so Big Eightful is absolutely right in his assessment. And Robert Mitchell says we need more wide receivers. I think we need to throw to the backs. We completely got away from the strategy that really worked against the Cowboys, throwing to the running backs. Silver Mays says, I noticed a lot of Vegas fans talking about the Raiders over the last several weeks. Excuse me. I'll repeat that. Silver Mays writes, noticed not a lot of Vegas fans talking about the Raiders over the last several weeks. Gee, that's shocking unless it's not. There's problems with that deal. Okay? And it's known. And the hotel tax revenue is not coming in anywhere near the levels it has to be. There's no guarantee, and people keep wishing for the next month to be better. That's not the way it works. The deal's in trouble, and they better accept that it's in trouble now and adjust it before it's too late. So Silver Mays says, with the exception of the 2014 draft, Reggie has been pretty average GM. And Big April, thanks, Robert. Robert Mitchell says, so we need a good offensive coordinator. I think we need to get good offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I am not sold with what we're doing there. And David Compton says, so do you feel the Raiders are using Lynch to his fullest potential? Heck no at all. No way. No way, Bob. Rick Rice, you are the man. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody, by the way. Robert Mitchell says, not at all. He had 25 touches, but this season was a season high. Yeah, they finally fed him the ball. I mean, it took this long for them to finally figure out, well, this is what was the problem, okay? We've said all year long, feed him the ball, all season long. Feed him the ball. Feed Lynch the ball. Feed Lynch the ball. Put him in the I formation. So they get, over the last 4 games, half the equation right. We get one game, like the Giants, where they put him in the I formation, and he pays big dividends. But then we get another game like this one where they don't put him in the I formation, but they feed him the ball a lot. It's crazy making. I mean, I just, you know, it's like they're still trying to figure it out. And here we are, one game to the end. The Chargers and the way the Chargers. So Merry Christmas, Bernard. Hey, how you doing? And Rick Rice claims if we had a King Norton, it would be a blowout. Yeah, for us, we would have blown them out. And Robert Mitchell says what I said before, and Silver May said something that I quite agree with. The way the Raiders are playing, I think next year will be just as bad. Too many holes to fill. It's not just that it's bad; it's the style of play. It's the two down linemen, four linebacker, five defensive back defense that gives up runs. It's not giving up runs; it's giving up big play passes. It's the lack of flexibility on offense, such that there's no side adjustment for receivers. There's little formation diversity. It's the unwillingness to really do and call great form defenses, great offenses, great defenses that are specially designed for the game that take advantage of the weakness for that particular opponent. All right, it's all of that and more. And Rick Rice says, with Pagano, we held the number one offense to 10 points. Pagano is king. He says Norton is trash. I disagree. Because Norton had great games like the New York Jets, for example. I That's an argument you're not going to win with me. So Byron Mitchell says feed the beast. Yes. Superman says it was only last year Carr and the Raiders went 12-4 with a different offensive coordinator. Crawford adds Merry belated Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry belated Christmas to you all. And Big April says, if the Raiders go 6-10, do you think Jack is gone? I think it's time for a change. I really do. There's a style of play there, and there is a kind of approach that I believe is not going to pay the Raiders dividends in years 4, 5, and beyond. I think if you hold on to Jack Del Rio for another 3 years, you might get that Super Bowl contender in the third year after this. But there is nothing in the way the Raiders presented themselves this year that makes you say, okay, you want to hold on to this coaching staff because they're going to be demonstrably better next year. You don't have this approach that is producing dividends like the 49ers are finally getting with Kyle Shanahan, right? People are looking around and they're turning to the 49ers and they're saying, hey, wait a minute. Hey, they beat the number one defense. And I say this, it's more important to beat the number one defense because offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships, okay? Than it is to brag that you beat the number one offense when the quarterback is injured and out. All right? Just saying. So, just saying. Rick Rice, hey, look, Carson Wentz was out. So every time you bring up an example, I'm going to bring up the injuries that put that offense into a position where it could be had by our defense. Our defense is crap. I'm just telling you, our defense is crap. It has been crap all year long. I don't care who was the defensive coordinator. It's Jack Del Rio that dictates that 2 down linemen, 4 linebacker, 5 defensive back defense. It's been there all year long. Take a look, okay? So now, Big April says, who should the next coach be then? I vote for Kevin Sumlin. Silver May says, I'm sure all these poor, struggling billionaires are finally happy with this year's Christmas. Wow. There's going to be a lot of turnover. I mean, we need to change, okay? We really do. So, where are we? Dave Compton says, I thank you, Mr. Z. Good you agree about Lynch. I feel the offensive line doesn't really open holes for him. They can. I mean, you have an offensive line that has 3 Pro Bowlers, all right? Let's not discount that. And we have one of them, Donald Penn, who really has been maligned by a lot of us, but not as players, and is very well respected, and we have to acknowledge that. It's the scheme and the calls and the lack of a coherent approach. And so Flair says, look, it took Elway 3 years as a general manager to win a Super Bowl. How long has McKenzie been a general manager? Longer than that. Going back to, wow, he came in, we had Hugh Jackson, so I want to say, was that 2012? Yeah, so 2012, 2017, what, 5 years? So there you go. Um, Big April says 3 years as general manager. I think we had him longer than that, Big April. Because remember, it was McKenzie that came in and fired Hugh Jackson. Okay, remember that? He came in, he fired Hugh Jackson, and that became his era. So it was longer than 3 years. And it goes back to like 2012. So Super Maze says, what free agents are out there in 2018? So that's a, well, hey, look, Kirk Cousins is one big free agent that's just sort of sticking out there if you want to think of a quarterback that can really come in, create a great quarterback controversy, and challenge for Derek Carr in a brand new system. And I'm really for that. I'm really for getting a new head coach who's an offensive guru, like a Kevin Sumlin, who was coach at Texas A&M, who coached Johnny Manziel, among others, and and recruited Johnny Manziel, if I'm not mistaken. No, he coached him, didn't recruit him. But anyway, I'm really big on getting him and having him install an air raid offense with some gunslingers in it, and just rebuilding this offense to be a monster. I really am for that. So let's see here. Bernard says, scratch Carr's contract and get Kirk Cousins. Well, I don't know you scratch his contract. I just think that, hey, look, Kirk Cousins is out there, and Carr's contract has a number of incentives. So you get those. You get Cousins to sign. I get Cousins to sign. I don't agree with dumping Carr, but because again, Derek Carr only does what he's coached to do. Okay, but a lot of people were just in love with the idea of Derek Carr. I wasn't as the savior and the heir apparent. They were grooming him, and I always contended, and people jumped on me, but I always said, hey, you know what? He is being given the job. Let him earn it, and because I always felt that he didn't earn the job under tough competition. So Bernard says, no way you can sign Cousins with Carr out there. Why not? Why not? I mean, I really believe in taking a hybrid step on this. Silver May says the need is for a new offensive system, no doubt. Hopefully next year Carr will be better, but if not, they need to draft a quarterback. Yep. Well, yes. Let me ask you, if the Heisman Trophy winner for Oklahoma were available, if would you want him? I know it was if you feel that the Raiders should trade up and get him, because my take is if we're going to go up and get someone like that, you have to change the offense or be willing to change your offense to have some elements of what he played in Oklahoma to do that. All right. But now, and Silverman says the need for an offensive system, no doubt. Carr says, Big April says, Carr can run a no huddle as well. The new offensive coordinator should go that way. Bernard says, we really going to pay Kirk Cousins? We already have Carr's paycheck. All right. So, okay. My point is, we need to establish a quarterback controversy. I'm throwing Kirk Cousins' name out there because he's going to be available. He's already available. And what the heck? It's red meat for a conversation. Okay. But, and it is red meat for a conversation. But, yeah. Oh, okay. So, by a show of yes or no, do we handle it this way? Do we keep Carr as the number one? In other words, do we not keep him? Not say get rid of him. No, we already signed him to a great contract. Do we pencil him in as the number one for 2018, or we announce that we're going to have an open quarterback competition, and then we create the competition? I'm not talking about bringing Kirk Cousins in. I'm just saying, okay? What do you think we do? In other words, if you think that Carr should be the number one, just say yes. or no. Okay, all right. And Rick Rice makes a great point. We need an offensive coordinator in the box, not on the sidelines. Firestar says no. Big Apple says yes to Carr is number one. Mitchell says yes. Or I mean, yeah, we say yes. Are you saying yes to Carr as the number one quarterback, or yes to Carr as Big Apple? Are you saying yes to Carr as the number one quarterback, or yes to an open competition? If you're saying yes to an open competition, okay, okay. Firestar says Carr has happy feet. He's scared. Mitchell says Carr number one. Okay. New Style says yes. Downing's the problem. Number one. So in other words, everyone's saying keep Carr penciled in as number one, but get a new offensive coordinator. Am I right? Okay. Which I can go with. All right. But what I'm doing is I am. Oh, Bernard says get rid of him. You mean Carr or Downing? Compton says no. He breaks under pressure. Talking about Carr. Wiggle Baby says, boy, Carr looked awful. He blew 2 weeks in a row right at the end. Silver Maze says, new offensive coordinator. Bernard says, both. All right. And Rick Rice says they have a QB controversy every year with the backups already. I disagree with that because it's not manufactured. What I'm talking about is instead of saying that Carr is your number one pencil in, say, hey, you know what? It's a wide open competition. Carr is not number one. We're going to give it to whoever wins the competition in training camp. That's what I'm talking about. And so, first, Tahir says, yes, get rid of Carr. He's a negative. Wiggle Baby says, we definitely need a new offensive coordinator. Wiggle Baby says, I would give Carr and Del Rio another year to see how it goes. I kind of like that one. Rick Rice says, Carr is the best thing that's ever happened to the Raiders in 15 years. Interesting. But Rick Rice. Okay, so you're saying keep Carr penciling in as number one, but new offensive coordinator, right? Just asking. Bernard says Carr is overrated. And interesting here. Interesting. I'm trying to build this into a more of an argument. And then I'm writing this. I'm saying arguing, keep or dump Del Rio here, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, I can't even spell correctly. I'm writing on this stream here because Charles Woodson, someone says something about Charles Woodson. Wait a minute. Oh, there. Okay. And yeah. All right. Now, going back to that, Fires Tower says Charles Woodson is the best thing that happened to the Raiders in 15 years. I agree. Rick Rice says, yes, new offensive coordinator. Wiggle Baby says, I think Carr is just playing really awful. He's not following through on throws and whatnot. He's either still semi-hurt or afraid to get hurt again. Bernard says, just trolling a little bit. Yeah, that's all I'm doing is trolling me too, right? So he says, yes, new OC. Bernard says, Carr will be fine. Silverman says, you don't want to trade Carr currently only for him to be a star that you thought he was going to play with another team. Well, I'm willing to take that chance, okay? Because I'm really willing to take that chance because I'm going to bet that he's not going to wind up with that other team, which says, hey, you know what? Boom, we're going to give you the keys. I think Derek Carr has it within him to be the next Peyton Manning, but not in this offense because they're not forcing him to think, okay? They are allowing him to be an automaton, and he is not demanding more. He's simply content with his role, and he needs to be pushed, Derek Carr does. He needs to be pushed to the greatness that we've seen him achieve. Okay, last year, he was really awesome, really effective. This year, not at all. And so Fire says, I love this YouTube page. Thanks for interacting with us. Hey, thank you. I much appreciate that. I mean, I don't know how other live streamers do it for the Raiders. Do they have this kind of interaction? I mean, I haven't checked out anybody else's live and how they do it. Do they do this kind of interaction? And now Rick Rice, you're absolutely right. He says we need an up-tempo offense, like the run and shoot. Okay, right? I mean, how about the run and shoot, no huddle, right? I mean, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Now, Rick writes, the question is, who out there can we get that knows June Jones? Ah, let me throw this out there. How about June Jones as our offensive coordinator? Okay, and as far as your first time, welcome. Silver says there are only so many good QBs out there. Well, there's actually quite a few in this era where we're actually manufacturing quarterbacks at the A11 passing offenses and that sort of thing. And yeah, welcome. Is it Firas Tahar? Is that how I pronounce your name? Firas. Firas Tahar. Did I say that correctly? So so hey, welcome to Zenny62. If you're just here, we're arguing keep Del Rio, fire Del Rio. We're arguing keep the offensive coordinator, fire the offensive coordinator. We're arguing keep the defensive coordinator, Pagano, fire the defensive coordinator. Me, I'm for just cleaning house and starting all over myself. Now, Wriggle Baby says, hey Zenny, when you have time, can you explain about to us about one of your latest vids about the short on the Vegas tax revenue? I would like to hear about your knowledge with bonds and what's going on. Yeah, I will be delighted to do that. Absolutely. And I'll is anyone on Twitter, by the way, by chance? Anyone on Twitter? I'm trying to make sure I'm oh, Rick Wright says there's a rumor June Jones got a girl on the volleyball team. What? Wait a minute. You're making this up, man. I gotta Google this before I blurt it out. I don't want to blurt out the wrong thing and have somebody say, ah ha 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 ha. Wait a minute. Let me see that one. That's hilarious. Let me see. June Jones news. Let's see here. I don't see anything about that one. Hamilton Tiger Cats signed June Jones to 3-year deal. Okay, so anyway, June Jones got a job with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, so there goes June Jones. I don't see anything there. And let's see here. June Jones, pregnant. I don't see anything, any news about that. And yeah, I'm not seeing that. So, oh, you said it was years ago? Okay. Oh. Hawaii? Oh, well, anyway, whatever. He's not available anymore. June Jones isn't available. He's signed to become or he is now, rather, the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So we lost out. The question is, who else is around that knows how to coach the run and shoot? And Big April says, David Shaw will make a nice head coach for the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders can afford him. Do you realize that David Shaw makes about $500,000 more than Jack Del Rio, or at least he did like last year? So, I mean, his contract payments hover between $2.2 million and $4.1 million a year. Yeah, so I mean, there's no incentive for him from a monetary standpoint to leave Stanford and then go over to the Raiders with all the headaches that come with that. I mean, he is in heaven. He really is in heaven. So, Who's Your Daddy says, Google June Jones scandal. Ah, okay, hold on. Yeah, but it was years ago. And the bottom line is he's not available, June Jones. And the question is, who else can coach the run and shoot offense? Who else is a run and shoot expert? So, theoretically, all right, that's the other question. Oh, I wonder if we've got the place here. We've with Raiders going to Vegas. Are you sure about that? I'm not. Yeah, after what I'm seeing, I'm not sure this deal's gonna work. And I've always hedged, but after seeing the slide, I'm starting to believe. Look, let me explain in detail what I'm saying. There will be some kind of large event center for UNLV, okay? That's without question. I just am not certain the Raiders are going to be part of that, all right? And because of the way the money is going. And Carver says, June Jones ran Jeff Jones off to Oakland before. And Who's Your Daddy says, I got that one, all right. So, yeah, I'm just not convinced at all that's the case here, okay, as to what's going on. And I'm not convinced that. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just not at all. I'm just not there. I'm just not there. Now we've got we had somebody. Oh, what else? What else? What else? Big April says, I heard it's 50-50 if Del Rio comes back. And, Jack will always get a job somewhere. Okay. He's experienced. He has the relationships. Hey, welcome to Zenny 62. Keep Jack Del Rio or fire him? What say you? If you want to keep Jack Del Rio, just so I keep, fire. This is it for everybody, okay? Keep or fire. So Tyre says fire. Wiggle Baby says, I say give Del Rio 1 more year, so keep, okay? What say you, Rick Rice? Keep or fire? What say you? We got a lot of people out here. Keep or fire? What say you? Aaron Mitchell says fire. He's got 3, 5, like the Ohio players. Fire. Philosopher King, how you doing? Philosopher King says, keep them. Find new offensive coordinator. Crawford says, torture ball. Hennessy, how you doing, Hennessy? Hennessy writes, Jack is like our Mark Jackson of the Warriors. He's got things turned around, but could never get us over the top. We need a Steve Kerr, but can't afford anyone because Mark is broke. P.S. I say fire. Taher says clean house. So, begs the question. Who out there, who do we get? Who do we get? That's a clean house, who do we get? So, I don't, who do we get? Who do we get? Fire. I kind of like that. That was funny. Fire. 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 The Ohio players. Fire. Oh, man. Oh, man. Don't know about this one. I wonder. I wonder. Now, let's see here. There. I'm still putting this out on social media to get more people to come in and argue with us. And so, Who's Your Daddy says that's what I was getting at. Raiders / Mark will be broke if they go to Las Vegas. Okay, now I'll explain. Right, let me explain what's going on with something else I was going to do too. Hey, by the way, if you're out there and you're on, please give a thumbs up. I'm trying to get it to from 4 to 10. Okay, if you could if any 5 of you out there, any 6 of you out there could give a thumbs up right now, pump it up there. Thank you. We're at 7. Only need 3 more. Let's see here. We got 8. Need 2 more. Yeah, I have a specific reason for this request because it goes with the an experiment that I'm trying. We have 1 more. And oh, wait a minute, I got an idea. And let's see here. I've got an idea. Okay. There. And what am I doing here? 10. Perfect. We have 10. And we may get more. Big April says, I see 10 thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. Because I'm playing with an experiment here regarding this algorithm and how it sometimes doesn't work properly and sometimes does. And you wouldn't mind, Himothy wouldn't mind Tom Cable. Why Tom Cable? I'm curious. I mean, I have nothing personally against Tom Cable at all, but I just want to know why Tom Cable? And why Tom Cable? Curious to know. How about how about Mark Crawford wants Mike White back. Mike White. Ooh, kind of like Mike White. Mike White. Dennis, how about Dennis Allen? Oakland Athletics fan. You're talking about Dennis Allen, right? Yeah. So yeah. I think he wants him back. Yeah, Dennis Allen did okay. Robert Mitchell's like, no. Mitchell's dead set against Dennis Allen. See, I'm for Kevin Sumlin myself. And Philosopher King says, Zinni, do you see the Panthers Bucks game? Winston got emotional at the end of the game and was screaming at his guys for giving up the lead. Yeah, and it wasn't that he was screaming for giving up the lead. It was that, but no, it wasn't. You know what it was? He felt this has gone on for a couple of games that the officials are against him, and in that instance, he was ruled as having fumbled the football, but the replays clearly showed him with the football. Okay, so that is why he went off that way. The previous game against the Falcons, when the Buccaneers were driving for what would have been the tying field goal, Winston was trying to get his folks in position, right? The referee took the ball and in going to place the ball, tripped and stumbled, and in stumbling, he took 4 seconds off the clock. When he put the ball back, instead of stopping the clock and ordering for 4 seconds to be put back on the clock, he let the clock run, and it cost the Buccaneers the game. So that's why Winston went off. And I'll be honest with you, he had a right to go off. He really did. Because on 2 consecutive occasions, the NFL officials have been responsible for losses that he has faced in the last seconds of a game. So I get why he was upset. I like his fire, I like his energy. Also, Jameis Winston, to me, is in line to be the next Peyton Manning. He's got those football smarts. He just doesn't have a coach, a coaching staff, or players that are at his level of competitiveness and competence in terms of their approach to the game. So I feel sorry for Jameis Winston. I think the Buccaneers need to clean house, also start all over again. So Big Abel says, how about the offensive coordinator of the Falcons, Steve Sarkisian, as head coach? Remember, Allen was hired him as head coach? I have to think about that. Well, my thought about Sarkisian is I think that he would be a good, solid head coach with an excellent offensive approach. He's been a head coach at the college level. He knows enough college. Steve Sarkisian would be an intriguing hire. And he'd be a better mix of player coach and football intellectual than I think we have currently on the staff of the Raiders right now. And I'm not saying that Jack Del Rio isn't an excellent players coach. He is. But Jack is not the football expert that you want, like a Steve Sarkisian, to come in and be able to go down in the bowels of your offense or defense and fix things. In this case, Sarkisian's specialty is offense, so he would go in the bowels there. And that would be a remarkable hire for the Raiders. But I do also believe that Kevin Sumlin would be equally good, if not better. So Hennessy says Tom Cable made things happen. We had Jason Campbell at quarterback and had a great year to start the season, then went down when Campbell went out. But I thought that was with Hugh Jackson as head coach. Robert says, all I know is we keep Woodson for the DBs. Yeah. I like that. So I like that quite a bit. And so, Wiggle Babies, are you still there? Because I want to now get to your question about about Las Vegas, if you are there. You're there. Okay, now Wiggle Babies asked me to address the Las Vegas issue, and I'm going to do so. And I'm going to attempt to do so without using jargon, okay? Basically, here is the problem with the Vegas situation. And I'll make it very simple. The monthly hotel tax revenue that's coming in for the stadium is far less than expected. And the reason is that the percentage of room revenue that's being collected because of the rate, which is 88 0.001% is too small for the bond issue that they wanted to float. It doesn't produce enough money to cover it. All right, that's the simple problem right there. That's where it is. Now, your question might be, well, how could such experts and professionals make that mistake, right? And the answer is simple. From a political perspective, the politicians that were on the Southern Nevada Tourism Infrastructure Committee, all right, um, and oh, by the way, I got a momentary aside here because Kevin KD, hey Kevin KD, how you doing? Hope you had Christmas was a great one. And Kevin KD says, Hennessy, I thought Campbell was good in the silver and black. Then when he went down, we overpaid for Palmer. I don't quite agree. Floundered until we got Carr, Cooper, and Mack. Yeah, and I could never understand why Hugh Jackson was willing to give up that much for Carson Palmer. I mean, he would say, look at how well Palmer's done with the Cardinals, and he would have a case, all right? Okay, now going back to the whole Vegas issue with Wiggle Babies, that's the simple explanation. But what happened is how we got there is that the politicians didn't want to have a huge tax rate that would go to the stadium. Why? You would say, Zenny, which politicians? Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval, Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman, excuse me, and Clark County Board of Commissioners Chair Steve Sisolak, who is now running for governor of Nevada. They did not want to have it collectively hanging over their heads, if you will, but they were going to slap this giant hotel tax on for a stadium when they couldn't use it for many of the other very more pressing needs in Las Vegas, like education and public health and public safety, okay? So they tried to split the difference between getting a stadium and looking good politically and doing it. In fact, there's a document that was put out by the Raiders. It has the Raiders signature, image on it, the Raiders logo on it, and the Raiders standard typeset. And it was done specifically to ask the question, why an 88/100 tax rate versus 0.7%, okay? And then they went to these different explanations. But the point they were trying to make is we're still going to get enough money. But what they never answered in the document at all was why the original model called for a 1% rate, 1%. And in my letter to Clark County and board and to the Las Vegas City Council, I said you need a 1.4% rate. And they said, oh, you're wrong, Abraham, you're wrong. And I said, I'm not wrong, just wait. And then I said to John Clayton that, hey, look, this deal is one Paris attack away from a problem. So here we are. You have, sadly, and there's another problem with this too that I forgot to mention, all right? And so there's another one, all right? And so anyway, your comments are interesting, so I don't want to get too far. Let me get your comments out of the way right now. And let's see here. Desmond says, Big Apple says the Raiders need 2 bookend tackles. Newhouse is weak. Penn is getting old. Cam Robinson. Rick Rice says Penn isn't even a team player. Desmond says there's no way fans from California are going to Vegas to watch a bad Raider team. And there's another reason for that I'll get to. Rick Rice says people in Las Vegas aren't even going to watch a bad Raider team. Big Apple says tell the truth, Desmond. Los Angeles didn't go to see them when they were in Los Angeles. So why would they go to Vegas? Rick Rice says Vegas is a joke. Kevin KD adds Desmond Davis, the Nevada faithful, even went as far as denouncing the arrival of the Raiders and calling California-based Raider fans a bunch of thugs. Yeah, hey, Kevin KD is right. Someone, I think on a blog called Vinyl Vegas, made an artist rendition of a kind of metal detector over I-15 next to the Raider Stadium to exemplify their fear that Raider fans are going to be precisely that bad people, right? Now, what does Desmond write? Desmond says, there's no way fans from California are going to Vegas to watch a bad Raider team. Right, 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 right. And and so Kevin Gady says, but Big Eightful, while you are accurate about Los Angeles not wanting the Raiders, especially as Oakland, they are the only team that could possibly do decently in Tinseltown. Hmm? And so I'm not even sure about that. I'll explain why in a second. Who's your daddy? Says, yeah, Rick and the locals most likely to want the 10 Raider games are going to be priced out of the ticket market. Um, Wriggle Baby says, you have nailed everything so far in predictions. Well, I don't know that I've nailed the predictions. I've simply told the story and I've been accurate regarding because I've tried to really because I've stayed in my lane, and my lane is finance and and urban economics. That's my lane, okay. And all I'm doing is telling the story of why the project goes well and why the project doesn't, and where that leads is where the data leads, and where the reports lead. Okay, so I'll call it like I see it. If I say, hey, look, the tax bill is going to help the deal, and you see me say it's going to help the deal, if it's not there, I'll say so. If it's going to hurt the deal, I'll say so. That's me. Okay, I'll go where the data takes me. But longtime followers of my channel know and remember that I said that this was a bad deal before the NFL approved it. All right, you know I've said that, and it continued. Nothing's changed. It's just gotten worse. But there's another problem. Let me get to it in a second. And so Rico Baby says, yeah, I remember. Carpet says it's for one team. Kevin Kennedy says LA is too vapid. Kevin Kennedy says LA is not an NFL town, plain simple. Robert Mitchell says Oakland is. And hey, if you're just joining us, welcome to Zenny62. Please give us a thumbs up and join in the conversation. And I will read your comments as long as they're reasonable. And I warn you, there are filters here, so if you try to use curse words, your entire thing will not get posted. And this is it's an algorithm. So if you keep doing it, they might get booted. Just saying. Not by me, it's the machines. Oh, it's the machines. Anyway, Kevin Keating says, yeah, man, the Lakers are the undisputed kings of LA. Patrick Ben Blackman says, Derek Carr. Patrick, how you doing? Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Derek Carr, Patrick says, isn't the same since Washington. Ooh, I'd be taking a good look at quarterback. You know, you have a point there. Kevin KD says, everyone else in LA are the Lakers tenants. All right, here is the other problem with the Raiders' attempt to relocate to Las Vegas. The idea is that a number of people, as you know, and welcome to Zenny62, by the way, Merry Christmas, as you know, are going to go, theoretically, from Los Angeles to the Raiders game, right? Okay? But the big problem that no one's talking about is the homeless issue in California is spilling over into this Las Vegas Raiders problem. Why? Because the homeless issue cause is, as you know, the lack of affordable housing, which is caused by the enormous number of market rate housing units being built at rates in excess of what people can afford, right? Okay? So people are having to spend more for the homes. Some people are being priced out of the market. Some people are being pushed out of where they used to live. With all that going on, how is anyone expecting those folks right now, today, to pick up what they're doing and say, I'm going to go to Las Vegas for a vacation? Okay? That is why you're also getting these poor Las Vegas and Clark County hotel numbers. You don't have the tourism rates you used to have on top of the tragedy. Okay? That is the problem. That is the problem. All right? So, Wiggle Baby says, do you know anyone on the inside that talking about Raiders possibly not going through with the Vegas deal? I've heard that mentioned when I was at the Cowboys game. I don't know anything, though. Well, it's still a possibility. They haven't signed the non-relocation agreement. I know it's out there, but they haven't signed it yet. When they sign that, then, hey, look, they've sealed their fate. They haven't signed it yet. Kevin KD says, that is what Goodell in the NFL has been selling about the vibrancy of the market. They think LA is being geographically closer to Las Vegas than Oakland will draw in LA's supposedly larger Raider fan base. But the other problem is that the LA region has the largest number or percentage of underemployed people in the United States, like 25%. And that was before this enormous housing problem came upon us. So Wiggle Baby says, makes sense since the deal is so awful. And Kevin KD says, because LA people would rather go to Las Vegas than Oakland for a Raider game with money they do not have. Right. I mean, but not only that, let's take the Raiders out of the picture and talk about right now. That dollar problem, the homeless problem. Remember, we have the largest number of homeless people in terms of population. We've had the first uptick in the homeless population in the United States since 2010, and you can't have that problem and think that people in California have money to flow to Las Vegas to the rate that they did, say, 4 years ago, when things were really better from a housing price standpoint with respect to income. All right. So you have, I mean, look, for the first time, and let's take Oakland. We had Oakland workers strike for the first time. We have Oakland workers that can't afford, city of Oakland workers that cannot afford the rents. I've never heard that before. Crazy stuff. So you expect them to just pick up and go to Las Vegas on vacation? I don't. I don't. Philosophy says, do you think there's a chance the Raiders could grab Hugh Jackson for awesome offensive coordinator if he gets fired? Yes. Well, no. And I'll tell you why. Because he and Reggie McKenzie don't get along, and I don't exactly know what the specific reason is, but I know for a fact they don't get along. And I'll just say that the GM does not like his style. Okay, let me put it that way. That's what it is. And let's see here. Kevin KD says the homeless problem in California is only getting worse. Crawford says Raiders are going to drag this Vegas thing out as long as they can. I agree. Madison says in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, reduced seating to 80,000 because they can't fill the racetrack. See what I'm talking about? Wiggle Baby says, and don't forget, Vegas has a worse off average median income in the Bay Area. Right. But remember the play that the Raiders have always used argumentatively is, you know what? Everyone's going to come and see us because we have a worldwide brand. We're popular around the country, and we're going to get everybody to come and see us. All right? And Crawford says that the homeless problem in Las Vegas is worse than that in Los Angeles. All right? So my point is, you put all that together. Oh, and we have Desmond Davis writes, people who come from LA to Oakland to watch the Raider games are coming for the whole Raider experience. Tailgating in Oakland is an experience like none other. That will be gone, period. He's right. Kevin KD says, but it's Oakland that established the worldwide brand. Thank you. Yeah, you can't replicate that anywhere else. It's going to be like people wearing black because it's cool and luxurious, right? Not because it's Oakland. And Kevin KD says, you can't transplant the brand. LA was perfect proof of that. That's right. And Al Davis knew that, and he goes, hey, look, I want to come back home. So, and Kevin KD says, in LA, at least is, and he says, LA is at least still California, says Kevin KD. And, hey, welcome to Zenny62, folks, by the way. Please give us a thumbs up while you're here and share your opinion. We're talking about whether or not Jack Del Rio should stay. Should Derek Carr be no longer the starter? Should we have a quarterback controversy? We're talking about Vegas and the problems there. And Melvin Lovejoy says he argues with a friend from Vegas. They swear the stadium is already getting built but had no clue on the tax. Yeah, they don't. They just kind of like, oh yeah, it's a done deal. Oh yeah, it's a this. But here's the thing. The stadium has to be thought of separately from the Raiders because there was always the push for a stadium for UNLV. The Raiders just was sort of used, right? So you have to think, hey, look, they want that large event center, which is what they originally called it. And the law points to that thing being built anyway. So it's not a matter of will a stadium be built or not. The real question is, will the Raiders occupy it or not? That's the question, okay? So, Patrick and Blackman says, thumbs up. Thank you, sir. Autumn Wind. Hey, man, I have not seen. Merry Christmas to you, Autumn Wind. I have not seen the Autumn Wind in some time. It says, Las Vegas will be a distraction for players. Crawford 371 writes, Los Angeles kind of tarnished it from a violence and reputation standpoint. Danielle Miniger says, Merry Christmas from Central Oregon. Thank you, Danielle. Nice to have you. Kevin KD writes, Crawford 371, exactly. Like Baus has pointed out so many times, Crawford says, long time Autumn Wind. It has been a long time. Kevin KD says, Ice Cube is the fakest Raider fan ever. Ooh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That was Kevin KD. That was, hey, Kevin KD, that was Ice Cube trying to call me here. Oh. He says, you know what, Ice Cube, just, excuse me for a second. What? Wait a minute, I gotta pick this up. One second. Oh, yeah? No. Thanks, Ice Cube, no. Ice Cube wants me in Fist Fight 2. See, that's because of this thing, all right? He's mad. He's mad. But you know what? I'll do it, all right? I'll do it, Ice Cube. You want me in Fist Fight 2? Book it, man. We will engineer the special effects so I will beat you. So Kevin KD says, I actually retract my statement about Ice Cube. that was him on the phone. I'm not kidding. He called the phone. Ice Cube. He just, I want to fight you. Okay, Ice Cube. Corvette says, Merry Christmas, Corvette. How you doing? Crawford says, Raiders in Vegas. Be even worse for the Chargers. Kevin D says, I got that one. Kevin D says, yeah, man, Vegas and LA for the Chargers and Raiders would be tragic indeed. Yeah, it would be. It completely would be. Hey, welcome to Zenny62, by the way. Nice to have you here. We're arguing. Hey, Ice Cube just called. He wants me to be in Fist Fight 2. Tell Ice Cube I accept. I'm defending the Raider way in Oakland. Raiders in Oakland, you say they should be... Come on, dude. Yeah. Fist Fight 2. Zenny62 versus Ice Cube. That's it. Fist Fight 2. That's it. You can tweet that out there to Ice Cube. Tell him I just got his phone call. Patrick and Blackman says, the NFL is a TV market driven by business. Vegas isn't even a good TV market for the NFL, despite teams having a small market, but having a loyal fan base like Green Bay. Hey, do you realize the Bay Area is so big that it can handle not one, but 2 NBA teams? Just think about that for a second. Just let that roll around in your mind for a bit. Wiggle Baby says, way cheaper to build in Oakland. What is Mark's problem for building here? His loans would be less. Danielle says, my money is on Zenny. Thank you. She's talking about the famed sequel to Fist Fight 2, rumored to star me and Ice Cube. I just got a call from I really didn't get a call from Ice Cube, folks. I don't want I'm just faking, okay? But I'm just saying that if Ice Cube were to call me and want to do Fist Fight 2, I'd be all over it. I want to be in that sequel to Fist Fight. I do much better than Charlie Day. In fact, Charlie Day, the actor, he was one of the executive producers on that. So call Charlie Day and tell him to put me in that movie. Anyway, Crawford 371 says Green Bay and Buffalo are exemplary because they have been there for so long. Eric Madison says it can handle 2 MLS teams. Yeah, 2 Major League Soccer teams it can handle. Talking about the Bay Area, and 2 NBA teams. And Crawford says Davis would not even have a loan in the Bay Area. Wiggle Baby says Zinni would have to bust out a calculator and lay down the tax law. You mean on Ice Cube? I would. In fact, I would. In fact, you know what? You said the magic words. Oops. Uh-oh. Because I actually would be able to, just do that. I mean, of course, I would have to make sure the calculator is intact, but yeah. Calculator. Hey, Ice Cube, I got the calculator right here, man. I can bust out the calculator and demonstrate to you right using this calculator why Las Vegas isn't working and will not work for the Raiders. Okay, so yeah, Fist Fight 2, Zinni, and the Calculator versus Ice Cube. That's Fist Fight 2. I got the weapon right here, man. This calculator is my these are mine. You know what this is? This is my version of knuckle knuckle rings. Okay, that's what these are. What do they call those things that you wear on the knuckles? I don't brass knuckles. Yeah, brass. Yeah, these are this is my intellectual brass knuckle. Ice Cube. I got my brass. I got my brain knuckles right here. There we go. So anyway, all right. Now, Desmond says, Zinni, do you think Mark Davis thinks the Raiders games will be broadcast in the Bay while he's playing? Yeah. Philosopher King says, do you think the reviewing every scoring play has become a problem this year in the NFL? Seems like a lot of calls have been overturned in controversial ways. That is a problem. The question is what come up at the NFL annual meeting, and I'll keep you abreast of that. Will Babies asks, with Seattle getting the key arena upgrade, I bet they get NBA back since the AHL is going up there. That leaves one more team the NBA will need, 32. Bay Area would be perfect. But we have to be aggressive. This goes to Oakland's leadership. We have to be aggressive, including you and I, in getting that. Kevin KD says they never should have put the Sonics in OKC. Oh, but you know what? If they can put the Sonics in OKC, then they can put a new version of the Oakland Oaks in Oakland, right? And call them the Oakland Invaders of the NBA. Eric Madison says, by the way, did you guys hear Vince McMahon brought the trademark for the XFL? Rumors are the XFL's coming back. Yep, I heard that. Which means I got to rebuild the XFL Sim World, which gives me another idea. But yeah, XFL Sim World is a game that I made as a cornerstone of my sports business simulations company. So now we've got you all here. I got to ask you once again. All right. Now that there's a larger group of you here, first of all, yeah, thumbs up, please. But secondly, fire Jack Del Rio, yes, with a Y, or no with an N. I'm ready. I'm waiting. Let's say all of you. I'll read them off as you put them out. Crawford says yes. Corvette says yes. Philosophy King says no. Fire says yes. We have 3-1. No. Big April so he has 3-2. Okay. 3 fire, 2 no. Wiggle Baby says MLS pick Nashville's expansion. He says no, don't fire. So we have 3 no's, 3 yeses. It's tied, which means we have a conflict. Kevin KD says no, don't fire him. So we have 4 no's, 3 yeses. Give him one more year. So we have 4 no's, 3 yeses. Anybody else? Crawford says Detroit will soon be getting it. That's another thing. What say you, Crawford, about Del Rio? Fire or not? 4 no's, 3 yeses. What say you? Waiting. Del Rio had an all-star. Okay, so fire. That's 5. That's tie again. 4. 5 no's, 4 yeses. Excuse me. 6 yeses, 4 no's. Crawford says yes. 5-6. All right, and LA Raiders says 1 more year. Okay, so that's 7 yeses, 4 no's. Eric Madison says yes. That's 8 yeses, 4. Okay, so basically, Corey says, why give Del Rio another year so we can waste on a player? Corvette says go 7-9. And he says if they start the season 2-3, he will get fired. P.S. Yes, keep him. Okay, so the slim majority of you say keep him, and I have a feeling Patrick Blackman says yes if we can get Pep Hamilton. Patrick says yes, fire. Okay, so now the yeses are overtaking the no's. Patrick will. I think Pep Hamilton would be fantastic. So Pep Hamilton should be on our short list, number 1. LA Raiders says, get rid of him only if you can bring in a proven winner. Yeah, but then proven winner's David Shaw type. I'm telling you, you cannot pry David Shaw loose from Stanford unless you're willing to give him $7 or $8 million a year. Basically double what he's getting at Stanford. So Kevin KD says, and Luck will battle Carr for the starting job. I think Andrew Luck's going to quit football. All right, that's just my gut telling me that. But I think Andrew Luck has one big foot out of the game of football. I really do. I think he's about done. And Kevin KD, I like Sumlin. I think Sumlin would be fantastic. I really do. So I think Kevin Sumlin would be fantastic. Hey folks, we're at 16 thumbs up. Help us get to 20. If you can just thumbs up, we only need 4 more. Okay, so 4 thumbs up. Like you just click on it and go dink, dink, dink. Todd Haley, another intriguing hire. I like the idea. I like the idea. Now, Wiggle Babies wants Chucky, and I think Chucky would be cool. I do. But I'll bet you 2 things. I have a feeling that Tampa Bay is going to dump Dirk Cutter, who I like as a person, but he hasn't gotten them there, and bring in John Gruden. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay. Kevin KD says I wouldn't blame him. Both of Luck's parents, talking about Andrew Luck, are successful. He comes from a good home, and he already has some money from the time he has already played. Yeah, he's rich. He's got an enormous signing bonus. Um, he's made great investments. He's at Stanford. He knows, all the engineers and VCs. He could write his. He's probably already written his ticket. So Crawford says John Fox. Nah, no. I like John Fox as a guy. I like John Fox as a position coach. He's been around. He's a great people person. But John Fox to the Raiders. I would have to. Well, I'd have to. I still like Pep Hamilton. I like Hamilton, Sumlin. We need a list. We need to start making a list. Hamilton, Sumlin, Sarkisian. Those are the top. All right. Gruden. Patrick Blackman says Gruden would come to Oakland only as general manager. Corvette says no on John Fox. Interesting. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. And it is getting late. So I'm going to stop at 1 o'clock in the morning Central Time, which will be 2 o'clock Eastern. It is now 1:42. Okay, just give everybody that heads up because I know some people are dropping off because they're tired, and some conferences Dirk Carter is offensive coordinator, and I hope everybody. I've had a great Christmas. This is 2 of my Christmas gifts. Hold on a second, right? I didn't know Uggs. Uggs. I didn't know they're Uggs for men. These are Uggs. Well, I guess maybe these are unisex, right? I don't know. But I always thought Uggs were just for women. This is my gift. I'm in Chicago, Rick. Yeah, I'm in Chicago. Let's see here. I go back and read your comments before. Rick Rice says Tom Brady Uggs. Tom Brady has Uggs. Oh man, you kidding me here? Eric Manson says yeah, but you have to make Chucky the highest paid coach in football. I don't think it's worth it. And Eric, I think you're right. Crawford says Carter for offensive coordinator. Kevin KD says that John Fox is more of a position coach, and as I reported before, there's some no's with respect to John Fox. Hennessy says, what about Marvin Lewis? I like the idea of Marvin Lewis as well. I think Marvin Lewis is a great person to get the best out of players, and I think Marvin Lewis would bring a nasty attitude to a Raider organization that needs it. Okay, I'm just saying that. We need to get back to the Al Davis Raiders, okay? And the Bengals had some of that nasty, but I think it really belonged to the Raiders. I think we need to go back to breaking some heads. So, you walk in the Coliseum, it would be perfect, right? The mausoleum again, okay? How beautiful would that be? Then Vegas would definitely not want us. The place would be wild and be like, it would be fantastic. So, I'm kind of liking that idea. So, 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 Crawford says, I retract on the no march of Marvin Lewis. He agrees! So this is great. And so Dank Meck says, if Raiders don't get Musgrave, what offensive coach should we get? Sumlin. We have Sumlin, Hamilton, Sarkisian. Musgrave as head coach? I have to think about that one. And An Uggs guy. Tom Brady is an Uggs guy? I didn't. They are very comfortable. I'm telling you, it's hard to take them off. They are very comfortable. Also got these. Hold on a second. Uh, this is my other Christmas present. These are Nikes. See this? Ta-da! They're kind of dress Nikes, right? These are really comfortable and soft, and I got the idea. Eric Grubman of the NFL turned me on to some shoes that were they're like tennis shoes and comfortable. I forgot the name of them, and I started to go and just buy those, and then I thought, hey, these are less expensive and just as comfortable and flexible. Well, just yeah, they really are, and I was surprised. I didn't think they would be, but for a price comfort ratio, I like these a lot. So just because you have the money doesn't mean you have to spend it all the time, right? So anyway, thanks, Eric. But anyway, Crawford says Marvin Lewis won't even have to worry about the Steelers being his brains in every year. It's Kevin Katie says Brady is Darth Vader. It does look like that, doesn't it? I mean, Brady is Darth Vader. If Tom Brady is Darth Vader, does that mean that Bill Belichick is Snoke? No, he would have to be the Emperor. So who would Snoke? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got it. Tom Brady is Darth Vader. Kylo Ren is who would Kylo Ren would be So you have to find Kylo Ren. Who would Kylo Ren be? Belichick is Palpatine. Who's the Emperor? I agree with you. Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, yeah. So what say you, Rick Rice? Do you think Bill Belichick is Palpatine? So, this fall says, not gonna lie, as a Spurs fan, I'm glad that Mark is getting some karma in the form of losing season. I understand. Kevin KD says, I'm conflicted about the Disney Star Wars movies. Why? I'm curious. But at any rate, okay, if we have Tom Brady as Darth Vader, then Belichick has to be the Emperor. And Snoke would have to be, oh my goodness. He would have to be Robert Kraft. There's no other choice. Kevin Keedy says he has not seen The Last Jedi. It's awesome. He's seen, he didn't like The Force Awakens or Rogue One. I love them. Kevin KD says this means that Eli is Luke Skywalker. Ooh, I like that one. And then Fall says that Bob Kraft is Jabba the Hutt. Oh my God. Oh, he no Wookie. Oh, anyway. We had the episode 7. Oh my gosh. Kevin Gady says his favorite one's episode 5 and episode 2. Okay, I'm episode 4 and episode 8. Basically, yeah, the first Star Wars and the latest one. Bookended. Love them. Crawford says, who would be the Stormtroopers? Wow, the Stormtroopers would be, well, the Stormtroopers would be pretty much the the Stormtroopers would be the Patriots and alumni, right? Like Willie McGinnis on the NFL Network. Every Patriot alumni that's out there is a Stormtrooper. Okay, how's that? And Attack of the Clones was great. Kevin KD is right, particularly the end scene of the Attack of the Clones, where the Imperial Star Destroyers are taking off. That was one of the best special effects scenes in movie history. That was cold. I loved it. And you love the Grand Lake. Alan Michon owns it. Yep, in Falls. You're right about that. In Falls 75. Dank Max says Todd is Jar Jar Binks. Wiggle Baby says the prequels are better than the new ones. You know, the last part of Rogue One was also one of the best sequences of special effects in movie history, and you gotta give a hats off to Senator to General Tarkin, right? CGI version, wow. And Kevin KD says, I love the way that Jango Fett got owned by Mace Windu. Okay, so let's 12:49. This is a good way to close out, though. Wiggle Baby says episode 7 and 8, though. Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. But we have to go back to making the Raiders right here. The Raiders. Remember how the Raiders used to be the Empire, right? Now it's, think about it. We put the New England Patriots in the position of the Empire, and for obvious reasons, they always win. But remember when the Raiders were the Empire? That's what we have to go back to. The Raiders have to be the Empire. But now we're the rebel forces, you know? So we need to build the rebel forces to take over, to take on the Empire. That's the idea. Infall says Rogue is is the only prequel worth watching. Wiggle Baby says yes. Hey, isn't Rogue One the only prequel? Well, that's not true because you have 1, 2, and 3. You're right. I liked 1, 2, and 3 because they set up the story of Anakin. I didn't like the whole romance thing so much because the music behind it was kind of like grating. It was like, and the dialogue was stilted and like, oh my god. Plus, anyway, the whole point is there. As Dank Mech says, make Raiders great again. And June Toss says, how many chances do we have to win it? Amazing. Yes. Oh, you're telling me. Too many chances. Too many. Google Babies writes, 2 and 3 were better, still better than 7 and 8, though. I just don't like these new ones. Rogue One was fun, though. LA Raider says, blame Todd Downing. Right. Well, blame Jack Del Rio for plugging Todd Downing in that position over Bill Musgrave, okay, because he thought that Downing was just like, and basically he tried to pin the Raiders' 2016 success on Downing and not Musgrave, okay? And now we see with our own eyes that wasn't the case. Just wasn't the case, all right? It's almost a Trumpian kind of approach, isn't it? I mean, I hate to compare Jack Del Rio to Donald Trump in that way, but it just kind of looks kind of like shaping reality like that. Crawford says Chewbacca will be Rob Gronkowski. I love it. I like that. Chewbacca as Rod Gronkowski. That would be cool. And Infall says, I think there's a lot of parallels between Al Davis and George Lucas. They both were great, and they lost their way, and they also both are from the Bay Area. In terms of where they got their fame, right? Wiggle Baby's last out, Kevin Cady. Do you realize how many famous people got their fame in the Bay Area? I mean, you think about Al Davis, George Lucas, Steve Jobs, Larry Ellison, Joe Lacob. I mean, in terms of business, I'm talking about business, right? Steve Wozniak. I mean, it's just a whole amazing list of incredible people. How about artistry? How about, Tower Power? I mean, just, Carlos Santana. I mean, wow, Sheila E. Yeah, the Bay Area rules. The Bay Area just rules. Kevin Cady says, we came to Oakland and we elevated his rapping style. Tupac. Hey, does anybody know about this movie that's coming out, I think, on January 27th, that basically posits the idea that the LA police had something to do with the end of life of Tupac and the notorious B.I.G.? Have you anyone heard about that? Is that true? I mean, I was flabbergasted. I mean, I'm not surprised now that I hear it, but I'm thinking, what? Oh my God. And Kevin Cady says, excellent guitar player. Yeah. Infall says, L. Ron Hubbard came up with Scientology at the Oakland Mental Ward. No, you're kidding me? What? I didn't know that. So Scientology was also invented in the Bay Area? Not only was Scientology invented in the Bay Area, we have Berkeley, the University of California, Berkeley, my school for grad school, the center of and the creator of American theoretical physics. I mean, we can make an argument that the whole American intellectualism was created in the Bay Area, right? Okay, so I mean, I'm kidding. This is fun, This is fun stuff. And Kevin Cady says he forgot about Carlos Santana. Wow. And Infall says it's true. The old brick building. I didn't know that. Infall 75. I did not know that. Wow. I didn't know that at all. Kevin Cady says, I think whoever killed both Tupac and Biggie framed Sugar and Puffy. the LAPD. They're tying it to the LA Police Department. I'm not making this up. This is current, present day. Wiggle Baby says Bay Area versus the world. It literally seems that way a lot of the time. It really does, you know? I mean, so much, so many firsts, you know, with Steve Jobs and Next, and I mean, just so much. Info says, don't forget about Tom Hanks. Skyline, class of 74. I'm Skyline, class of 80. Yep. Hey, not John Fontellis, another friend of mine. But the head of FX, the president, John Landgraf, Skyline class of 80. So Kevin KD says New York and LA got all the respect. Yep, absolutely. And Bill Wall says, I think Tupac was overrated. He started his entire beef with Bad Boy to sell records. It doesn't surprise me, though. It really doesn't. All right, folks, it's this is fun stuff. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Where's John Marks when you need him? Somewhere in Kelso, Washington, I guess. And Wiggle Baby says, I went to the same junior college Tom Hanks did. You're kidding. And Chabot, you went to Chabot. Okay, wow. Wow. Chabot. Did you go the same time as he? Just asking. He says, obviously I'm younger, though. Like, hey, you thought I wasn't paying attention. I got you. Infall says, I will. Hopefully Las Vegas falls. Thanks, Zenny. Good night. Yeah, good night, folks. It's 12:56. I'm going to start doing the wax on, wax off that, you know, Crawford got down so well. Wax this way, wax to saying goodbye, and everybody else and everything. But as you can bet your last money, it has all been on stone gas. I mean, as John Cornelius used to say, from right here in Chicago, actually. Hey, and I'm not Don Cornelius. Matt Patricia. Hey, now that's a left field name for coach. Peace. Dilly Dilly. This is the first show I haven't used Dilly Dilly. Until now. Dilly Dilly. Because I'm not in Georgia and I don't have the placard where I'm holding like Dilly Dilly, right? Which is cool. Bill Waite says, on to the offense. I feel a lot of the blame goes on Carr, not just Downing. Clark plays scared. You know, Carr does deserve blame over the last, 5 games? He's overthrown receivers. His footwork has been lousy. But then again, you want your quarterback coach to work on that to improve your quarterback, right? And that hasn't happened. So it's, in this business, it's always never just one person. It's always a team that's responsible for the poor or the good play of a player in the National Football League. Just as the way it goes. LA Raiders says, we need to get an offensive coordinator to get established and a vertical passing game again. I quite agree, Kevin Sumlin. Carr needs a psychologist. And Wiggle Babies is calling for he's calling for Jack Del Rio, our head coach of the Oakland Raiders, to be put in the pit of misery. With a key, so that on his own, he can go out and get Bud Light whenever he wants. Just putting that in there. Nothing but love for you, Jack. We just wanted to see you do better. That's all. So how about this? How about keep Del Rio, clean out the coaching staff, and start all over from, down. I'm just asking. All right. So there we go. All right. So somehow I got Dilly Dilly. Dilly Dilly? Dilly Dilly. Dilly Dilly. Dilly Dilly. It is 12:58. And let me see here what happened. Bill says Zinni with the first pick in the Oakland Raiders should select. Where do the Raiders land? You know what? That's a good question. And I have a feeling that since I'm going to stop at 12:59, I'm going to save that for tomorrow. Dilly Dilly. We get you to come back tomorrow. So come back tomorrow, and we'll focus on that because the Raiders are now 6 wins and 9 losses, with the Chargers on the horizon. And I agree, Wiggle Baby's Carr is playing scared, but then the coaching staff has given him good reason to play scared. Oh boy. All right, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. And by the way, this Christmas, which I hope was a great one for you, Doctor Who, retired Peter Capaldi, the 13th Doctor Who is a female. Dilly Dilly. Dilly Dilly. Watch horror films and keep America strong. Watch Doctor Who. and keep your mind active. Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And Merry Christmas.